Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and you hit the bell button. That way when I upload every single Saturday, you're not missing a video, you're not missing an upload or anything like that. You're going to catch everything here on my channel. So as you can see, I'm not alone today. I have a very, very special person here with me today. Actually the most special person in my life, my hubby.
Hi everybody, I'm McDaniel. I'm Monay's husband. And last week she went over talking about postpartum and how the showing the 5 signs of postpartum and helping women kind of get through it or giving advice on how to get through it. And this week I'm here to help young men who has to deal with or having to deal with postpartum and see if I can help somebody get through it.
Okay, if you guys didn't check it out last week, I'm going to leave the link below for you guys to check out my video on my experience and the 5 signs that may indicate you or someone you know may be going through postpartum depression. So click that link after you're done watching this video. You can go check it out if you haven't already. So I guess, babe, we just want to know, like, straight up, we just want to know from a male's perspective or from a husband perspective, how the postpartum affected you and just your experience and how it made you feel. How did I make you feel?
Well, going through postpartum for the first time was really tough because I didn't know anything about postpartum depression. We both were really young. We've never had a kid before. We've never been through that process. So you can actually start noticing postpartum depression before the baby is even born. You can you start noticing different changes in behavior, mood swings, and just being very irritable and very emotional. Like she was really emotional and kind of crying a lot. So it was tough just not knowing because you think it's like is this how a pregnancy is supposed to go or it's just, you just don't know what to do. And then when a woman is going through postpartum depression, if you say the wrong thing or try to over-encourage, it can make them very irritable. So that's kind of what I was going through. Like, I would be trying to encourage her or try to figure out what's going on. And
Yeah.
she would just, like, snap at me. So it was tough going through it for the first time because you just don't know. You don't know what's going on because she doesn't know. Like, a woman that's going through it, she doesn't even know that she has postpartum depression. She only can go off of her hormones and how she feels. So she doesn't know and I don't know, and that just kind of made us kind of bump heads a little bit.
It literally did. Like, if I don't know, how do I expect him to know? I didn't even realize it. So a lot of women don't realize that they have postpartum. So, and a lot of women also, we are the queens. We are the pros at expressing our emotion. If we feel something, we're going to say it. If you annoy us, we're going to let you know. We're going to tell you exactly how we're feeling. But men, on the other hand, well, I can speak for my husband, and it's majority of men, they handle their emotions differently. They're not, sometimes they may shut down. There are men, you know, that are different, but for a lot of men that I know personally and he knows personally, they do shut down. They're not good at expressing. They bottle it up, and that's what he was doing. And so with this, we're getting to hear, like, what are men really thinking. I didn't really know at the time what he was thinking. I just knew he was frustrated with me, and I feel so bad because I literally, how many times have I apologized to you? Like, I feel like I put him through hell. Like, I apologize to him a billion times. I want to ask you, like, what major changes did you see in me? What stood out to you the most? What changed about me, and how did you handle the change?
Well, the number one change to me was maybe anger. I feel like anger was the biggest change besides the emotion, crying a lot, because not only would she be anger or show anger towards me, she would also show anger towards her sisters or to her mom or her auntie or whatever. She would snap on people who ask her simple questions, and that's not who she's been since I've known her. She has always been a sweetheart. So her snapping on people and going off on people, that was a major change, and that's how I knew that something wasn't quite right.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of did like a 160, like totally
180.
different. 180, whatever you want to call it. Okay, don't check me. Whatever you want to call it. Like, I was Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. Like, I was a totally different person from when he met. So how did that, how do you feel like it affected our marriage and our relationship? Like, and how did it affect the atmosphere in our house? Like, how did it affect our marriage? Because I was a different person. How did you feel about that?
Well, we definitely both probably agree that we would argue a lot more because, like I said, when you don't know that she has postpartum depression and then she doesn't know herself, and when she begins to get snappy or get irritable or she's showing so much emotion, you trying to figure out why you crying or why are you so angry, and she's kind of snapping at you, and you kind of get irritated. It's like, okay, I understand that you're pregnant or whatever, but you kind of, as a guy, your natural instinct is, I'm gonna go back at her, like, or why you been so angry towards me, and we would start butting heads. We would start arguing a lot,
and it changed our marriage bad.
And it changed the atmosphere in the house because we would get into it and we wouldn't really talk that much because I knew if I said something to her that she didn't like, she would be very upset, or we would kind of get into an argument. So the atmosphere in the house changed. It was way more intense than what we were both accustomed to before the pregnancy. So
yeah, and it's crazy. I think it literally affected us so bad. Like, we weren't hugging, we weren't kissing. It was just like, get away from me. It was like, stay away, And I think like I traumatized him because I remember I got pregnant with our second kid, our son, our baby. So I took the pregnancy test. Do you remember that day? Like, yeah. I showed him the pregnancy test. He got home from work and he was just like so stunned, like shocked. After, we exchanged feelings of happiness and joy. Y'all know one of the first things he said to me, he was like, do you think you're going to be like, go through postpartum? I hope you're not going like that again. I hope you don't experience that again. Like, he kept reiterating that to me, like, okay, it's going to be different this time. And even leading up to the birth, as I got ready to give birth to our son, he was just like, yeah, I mean, he was really trying to encourage me in the giving birth process because he wanted to make sure I was not going down the postpartum depression road. So he was just asking over and over, like, okay, you're not going to be like last time. Please tell me you're not going to be like, okay, I get it now. I guess we want to know how do men deal with it? How did you get through it? What tactics, what techniques did you use to get through dealing with me and a wife that's going through this? How did you get through it? And what advice would you give to other husbands that are going through this with their wives, or fathers that are experiencing this postpartum depression?
Yeah, as a male going through postpartum with your spouse or partner, it's not easy. I mean, it can get to the point. It's gotten to points where I didn't know how much longer I can do it. Like, it's been some times where I didn't know. Like,
you want to give me the deuces, babe? Like, peace out.
Yeah, because I was just like, I don't know who this crazy lady is.
Oh
like,
my God.
She's completely different from the person that I initially met. So it was tough. It was tough, and it's not easy to deal with. So I think how I got through it is just first off finding out that she had it, and if you are a young male or you're a male going through postpartum with your spouse, if you feel like your spouse has postpartum, I would definitely go to a doctor to get that confirmed, because I think if both of you guys know that your spouse has postpartum,
yeah,
I think it's easier to kind of get through it together, because now it's an understanding. And I found out that she had postpartum through a nurse. A nurse
yeah.
basically pulled the baby out of the room because Monay was going through postpartum. She didn't want to be attached to the baby. She didn't want to breastfeed. She didn't want to do skin to skin. She pretty much asked the nurse to take the baby out of the room. And then I'm even asking, like, why don't you want to hold the baby? And she would snap at me like, what do you mean? Like, leave me alone. I just want to be left alone. And I'm just like, why is it's supposed to be like one of the happiest times of our life, and it's just
and
like,
it wasn't.
And I'm just like, yeah, and I'm just like, why? What's going on? So the nurse pulled us out of a room and put us in a separate room, and the nurse was like, Mr. McDaniel, can I talk to you for a second? I just want to talk to you about your wife, and I truly believe that your wife is suffering from postpartum depression, And I didn't even know what postpartum was, but I just asked the doctor, like, hey, why do you feel like she's suffering from postpartum? And she goes, the signs of postpartum is being very irritable, being very emotional, not wanting anything to do with the baby, not wanting to hold the baby or do anything with the baby, or not even want the baby around you. And she was like, your wife has showed all of those symptoms, and I feel like your wife has the postpartum. So now that I knew that, I kind of went and looked up postpartum and what it was, and it was everything that our nurse was explaining to me. So I began to also look up ways to help my wife get through the postpartum. And when you're married, you have vows. You mean you're vowing that for richer or for poorer, or to death do us part. Like, there's so many vows that you vow to when you're getting married. So I wanted to stick to my vows. I want to stick and help her get through it. And the first thing that
you gonna make me cry.
the first thing that I did, was really watch what I said to Monay. Like, I wouldn't come in fussing if my daughter wasn't put in a tub, or I wouldn't come in fussing if food wasn't cooked, because if you come at somebody that's dealing with this postpartum depression, if you come at them in a certain kind of way, they can fall into a deeper depression, and part of postpartum is they can feel very hopeless. And you just really want to watch your words. You really want to be more encouraging, even if things are not going right.
Definitely.
You want to be very encouraging at all times. Like, I would say, hey, babe, I know you couldn't cook dinner tonight. I'll order something, or I'll cook it myself, or I would take the baby for a couple hours just that she can have time to herself to kind of get herself together.
Yeah, he was a trooper.
And that's very important when you're going through postpartum with your partner. Is
definitely,
taking the baby as much as you can, and just helping out as much as you can, and just being very encouraging, and just try not to bring any type of negative energy towards that person.
Definitely. And I knew, like, you guys, like, I felt so loved, and he dealt with it so good. Like, he was awesome. Like, I knew he loved me because I began to read scripture. And as I got in my word, it tells you that, according to Corinthians, 1 Corinthians, I think it's chapter 13, it says love is patient, love is kind. He was all these things with me. Love keeps no record of wrongdoings. Every time I said something nasty, every time I would, like, snap on you, you never held that against me. You never brought it up. And he was just, like, so patient with me, guys. And also in Ephesians, it tells us to bear with one another in love, with patience and kindness. And he definitely was bearing with me. I'm just like, this man has to really love me, because how are you doing this? Why? He was ready to give me the deuces, but he didn't. He stuck it out, and he, just helped me through it. And I love the advice that he gave to the fathers that may be watching this. Definitely be encouraging to your wife. And we've been through a lot of tough times, and I'm going to make a video on that. We're going to be talking about our tips, our crazy experiences, because we had some tough times. So if you want to see more content, if this helped you in any way, please like and also subscribe. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in with us. Hope to see you next Saturday. Love you guys. Bye.